guys, welcome back to our channel. This channel is run by two sisters. So today I will be your host Star. I'm a 19-year-old self-taught artist, and for today's video I have another traditional video. I did 3 traditional videos back to back, like recording wise. I don't know how it's gonna be when I release it, but I want this to be a little bit more relaxing, less chaotic than my 2 traditional videos that I did prior or before this one. So yeah, if you want to work with me, open up your sketchbook or put me on the background and let's chill together. So today I have a very special product. Ta-da! Gouache. Okay, so I purchased gouache. I did extensive research whether I wanted to use gouache or whether I wanted to use watercolor, and then what brand I wanted to use, pros and cons, and then just ensure that whatever product I wanted to pick, it was the right product for me, that I was going to continuously use it, and also know the tips and tricks in order how to use it and how to take care of the paints themselves. Because this is water-based, it does dry out, but luckily water does reactivate it. So that's great. I can't wait to open it. I got the 24 pack, I guess, 24 colors. I'm very excited. Okay, let's go open it. Oh wow, they gave us brushes. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, so these are the little paint palette jars. I know I have to open them up, but like I said, they come with 24 colors. They do have one, I think 18. I'm not sure if they have one more than 24. They probably do. I went with the 24 pack. They came with some brushes. I really like the packaging of this. It matches well with the packaging of the box. So it's 3 brushes, which is nice. I do have my own, but I will be sure to use the one that they came with because maybe, you know, obviously it probably works a lot better. They gave us a palette, which is extremely nice. When I was watching a lot of videos about gouache and like which brands to choose from, a lot of people that I watched that had the Himi palette also had a like palette that came with the color set, and theirs were much skinnier because most of them had the 18 one, but this is very exciting. It's gonna be tedious, but let's unbox every single one of these colors. God, this is really hard to pull. So, like 10 minutes later, dirty hands and messy table, I'm finally done unwrapping everything of the paints. It was harder than I thought. These like labels, wrapper thingies, are just not as easy to get off as a lot of the videos made it seem. Or maybe it's just me who doesn't know how to do anything. So there has been some cross-contamination with some of the paints. But at the same time, I'm not upset about that. I'm going to clean everything up and then we can get started. This container is pretty big and I don't have much space on this table, but we're going to make it work. I'm going to open the brush that they gave us. Like I said, this has extremely pretty packaging. I really like this. I believe Himi is a Chinese brand and they know what they're doing with their packaging, that's all I'll say. And the brushes themselves are gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm going to use my own brushes for the swatches, and then when we actually start painting, I'll use the brushes that were provided. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna probably change between these two brushes here. I have my palette here, and all of the caps of the gouache I kept because they have a lot of paint on them and there's no need to waste. So I'll use those to swatch. And I'll just basically go in order of each of these colors. I don't know if I'm gonna test all of them, but I'm gonna do some testing on this paper. So it is not the prettiest swatch test, but I tried my best. I tried to go from very opaque slash less water to no water on the brush to more and more water into like the, like, I don't want to say the highest amount of water my brush can hold because I didn't like really put it in the water. It was more like a dip, but you know, to more water just to kind of see the difference in opaqueness when water is added to the brush. And then I also did the black line test just to kind of see how opaque a certain color is over a black line. The black line, I use a Sharpie. I don't really know like what other people use, so I had Sharpie and that's what I used. There is buckling on the next page after because of the water added, and when in the light you can see the color on the back, and with a bit of shadow you can't really see the color itself, but you can see the buckling of the page because of the water. This isn't really water paper, so it doesn't hold water too well, so the paper will buckle. With that said, I think I'm ready to start painting. I'm so excited. So the next part of the video is going to be no talking. I might do a voiceover just to talk about my painting process and just the materials and my review, first impressions and such like that. But just as in terms of real time talking, none of that. So sit back and relax, enjoy the process, enjoy the painting, whatever it ends up being. And yeah, thank you for sticking around. So I'm gonna get my voiceover plus like all my thoughts out right in the beginning of the process here, so you can keep in mind everything that I say, and just for the fact, like for the rest of the video to be just a little bit more chill and no talking. But I started my process off with a sketch. In the beginning, I kept in mind a lot of the tips and tricks that I learned either from TikTok, YouTube videos, or anything I read online. I started off with like a washed out, more watercolor base, like background or like first layer, and then everything else I did on top. I didn't keep in mind too much of the right ratio consistency of gouache to water, so the layers I put down so they can be a little bit more creamier. In the beginning, when I kept getting a lot more watercolor based like layers, I realized that like, you know, there's not enough paint or I put too much water, etc, etc. So try to keep that in mind. As opposed to like blendability, I know that this can blend really well with colors, but I just don't think I'm there yet with understanding gouache too much for me to like accurately do it like most people do when you watch gouache videos. So apologies for that. You're not going to see beautiful gradients or transitions, but I did try to keep that in mind to the best of my ability and my skill set. This is my first time ever using gouache, so it's not going to be 100%, you know, like the first time I do it. As opposed to just how I feel about these, I really do like it, the day after I did this painting, I had already used my gouache set again for another painting that I'm still currently working on. It's gonna be more for myself. I didn't record it, but I really like it, and I just can't wait to continue using it. And I'm learning so much as I continue to go on. Yeah. I really like this set. I don't have anything to compare it to because, like I said, this is my first time ever using gouache. But I gotta say, as a first time person, it was like the learning curve was pretty easy to get around. I think it's because I watch a lot of videos, but also because I've used paint before. Like, this isn't the first time I'm ever touching paint. So like, I knew just painting wise like what to do and how to use it. Obviously, depending on the type of paint you have, acrylic, watercolor, gouache, there's more of a learning curve in terms of like what you're specifically using. But if you already have a knowledge of painting and just the aspect of that, and like, you know, prior, then I think you should be okay. And I was okay. Whether it looked good or not is up to anyone's interpretation, and it's subjective. But you know, I think that I did an okay job as a first timer using gouache. I have a lot of things to keep in mind. I did mess up my painting in the end, attempting to do some water effect right on top, which sucks, but I can reactivate the paint and either get rid of it if I'm like, it's gonna be a tedious process, so I most likely will just lighten up the color so it's a similar shade to the background blue color that I laid down in the beginning when I first started the painting. So it just looks a little bit more cohesive. But at the same time, I'm not too upset with it. Just because my first painting came out really, really bad doesn't mean that, you know, I suck, my art sucks. It's just that I have to get better a little bit, and practice will help with that. So yeah, I'm gonna be quiet now. I hope you guys like the rest of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Okay, after so many hours, I am finally done. This is the final piece. Do I wish I didn't do this tinted water on top? Very much so, but what happens happens. I took a picture before I did it, so you know what? I'm okay with it. I think now we're going to peel and see what ends up happening. Wish me luck. Hopefully this comes out well. This isn't like washi tape, so... Oh. I think on my own time, I'm going to go over this with Posca pens because I have a dark blue and then I can go over the lighter bits with my lighter blue and then I have a white one. But that's when I feel like it if necessary. But regardless, I really like how this came out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I used the Gouache set. I used the white a lot and I contaminated it, so I have to probably buy one separate as like a refill. I contaminated the yellow as well, but if I wet it and mix it, it should go back to normal. I'm going to re-wet my whole entire palette because a lot of these did dry out, and then I'm going to close it and leave it that way until I need it again. If I keep this, like if I go with a long time without using it again, I'll make sure I reopen it to re-wet it so none of them dry and crack and get moldy. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot. Check out any of our other videos. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. Jen and I will see you in another video. Have an amazing day. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.